everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you don't know who we are, I am Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
So we're just going to dive into Ready to Love. This is the last episode of the series before they go to the reunion. And all I can say is I feel like they should have had this last week. It could have been an hour and a half special for what they showed us because they didn't really show us anything.
I 100% agree. When Denise left last week, I think they could have just went ahead and wrapped that up. And today should have been the finale. Not the finale, the reunion. Yeah.
So in the beginning of the episode, they did that little cheers to Denise. I guess that was cute for their circumstances, but I'm like,
I don't think they really...
Just get on with the family. Like, we want to see the family. So I also, before we even get to the family, thought it was interesting while they were sitting in their circle that Anthony was feeling big time being chosen up with Winter, while Rashid and Kalfani are still being chosen over Adriana. I was like, Anthony, it wasn't just that long ago you were still number 2 behind Jay. It was technically last week. I mean, in reality TV terms.
You know, do I save my comment for now or save it till who chooses who?
You should say it now because it just don't even matter at this point.
Yeah, he was number 2, and I still think you are number 2. I think, honestly, they're both rebounds because technically, if you let Denise tell it, she was into Anthony, he was into her, and then when Jay mentioned she was his number 2 for the 5th time and kissed her on the cheek, that's when she decided to go find somebody else in the house. That was just like, what, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Well, anyways, moving on to Rashid. Rashid is finally ready to put his foot down with Adriana. He's like, you know what? He's tired of being number 2. He don't chase no one. He gets chosen. And while I can see that, I think he's taking this harder because he's a guy, and guys usually are the ones picking, and girls are usually the ones who are chasing. Females are usually the ones who are chasing. And I think that's why you have a different comment.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, I didn't get that from Rashid. What he was saying, he's used to courting. He wants to court, meaning that's old school. I mean, your grandma used the word court. You know, like wine, dine, let the woman know he's interested, things like that. But when it changes to, like, maybe she's not on the same page and it feels like he's got to chase you now, and he's already putting it on the line because it's already hard enough for a man to do that, then that's when he's like, nope, I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket. So that's what he was trying to tell Adriana, like, this is how I'm feeling. You knew this from jump, so I'm going to need to know where you are to make up your mind.
Adriana was definitely feeling what he was putting out because it made her feel uneasy. So to me, it kind of seemed like she was trying to put on the giggly charm, like, oh, of course I'm so with you. Of course you're still in the running. But I've been saying for the past few weeks, I still feel like she was going to choose Kalfani.
You did, and I felt she was going to choose Kalfani too, but I was hoping she would choose Rashid just because I can see, I'm not saying Kalfani is not in a certain point in his life, but I can see the certain point where Rashid is in life. I mean, he talks about it every day, like where he is, where he's been, where he's going, and the sights that he sets out. I'm not necessarily getting that from Kalfani where he's at, but I mean, you know, I guess per one of our commenters, she likes, quote unquote, the bad boy.
I guess, well, for the families who came, Winter's sister came, and to me, when Winter was asking Anthony all those questions, I feel like Winter's sister was digging him more than Winter.
You know, I got the same thing too, Keisha. I was like, okay. She's like, so you coming to the cookout? I'm like, already from 2 questions, the cookout. But I felt that vibe too. I think, well, Winter and her sister definitely have different personalities, and that's true with most siblings anyways. But it seems Winter is more serious and her sister is more like really on Anthony's level, you know, the laughing, jokey, good time, and not real serious right now versus Winter. So I got that too.
Okay. Well, anyways, I guess he's Winter's sister approved. And also, Winter is approved by his sister. And
Tanya.
Once again, did it seem like Anthony's sister was feeling winter more than Anthony was feeling winter?
Well, again, I think that Tanya was feeling the type that, well, first of all, she liked Winter's look, how she came across, her demeanor,
Her aesthetic.
yeah. And so maybe someone like that hasn't been presented from Anthony, because Anthony said his sister is also his BFF. So when you see him, you see his sister, and if you don't get along, pretty much it's going to be a problem. So maybe she hasn't seen that side. I think that's what she said. I haven't seen this side of you before, meaning to Anthony, when it comes to a woman. So I think that's why she was more happy, like, oh, okay, maybe she could, you know, be somebody in his life.
And I thought, once again, it was also interesting that Winter is trying not to be the person who's trying to fix and heal man, but she also said that she is willing to be Anthony's first love. I'm like, I just don't think you are, Winter.
I think that was a little bit of a contradiction. Am I playing like the Dr. Phil role? That's how I feel right now. But not really, I'm not. But kind of. It just seems like she contradicted herself in that statement. Because, you know, she's used to, like you said, fixing someone. Well, she said it before too. Maybe not her exact words.
Yeah.
But, you know, to have to do that for a man, like she's ready to love. She wants someone who's ready to love now and go on that next step journey with her, because she's already been there, done that. And Anthony has said too, last week, this week, that, you know, he doesn't want to be rushed. So when he gets there, he gets there. So to me, that's a little bit of contradiction, because yeah, you're ready for love, but
You don't think he's on the step that she's on?
yeah, well, Winter to me is like on step 20 and Anthony's on step 2.
Ooh.
Because he said that, you know, he doesn't want to be rushed. So he's never been in love, and this whole experience for him is brand new. So they're really on two different pages when it comes to that. Now, he said eventually, and I believe that for everybody eventually, but I believe she's here now.
Moving on throughout the day, while Calfani is showing Adriana to his parents, which I thought was like a really big step and a big move, especially being in quarantine in the house. But you know, that's what he wanted to do.
I'm sure they were tested.
Rashid didn't want to bring anybody because he had this gut feeling, this intuition that Adriana is just not there with Rashid. So when he was on the call with his sister, he was explaining this to his sister, but then he was like, you know, do you still want to possibly meet her? She was like, well, no, if you're not feeling this with inside your soul and your spirit, I don't even want to entertain this, because it's really not going to go anywhere. And if you feel like you have to self-eliminate. You know, it's like, yeah, put your foot down, Rashid. If this is what you're feeling, just go ahead and do it.
Well, his sister Tiffany was listening to what he had to say, but she didn't say self-eliminate to him first.
Well, I was reading his mind of what he was wanting to say.
But no, he did say it. He said maybe I should self-eliminate and take myself out the competition, because again, he doesn't want to chase someone he's been courting. And his sister went on to say, to your point again, follow your gut. And you know, when it came to do you want to meet her, she's like, not really. And it turns out he should have followed his gut. And I agreed with everything his sister was saying, because he, when he finally met up with Adriana to tell her about, you know, he was going to self-eliminate, things like that, and he gave her the reasons why, and Adriana was like, really? Well, I want you to meet my dad. I'm thinking,
well, that's not what she said first. She was
Okay.
like, well, Calfani's willing to fight for me. How come you're not willing to fight for me? I want you to meet my dad. And then he was like, okay, well, I guess. Kind of like a little competitive spirit, like, well, if Calfani's doing this, maybe I should do it too. And if I meet her dad, maybe her dad might give me a good word to put in.
But you only feel what you feel. If you don't feel it, you don't feel it. Like I said in one of our other videos that I did on Ready to Love, when you know, you know. So no one else is going to sway your mind.
Yeah, so you don't feel like. So basically, what I'm getting from you in all this, I just had a realization. Do you think Adriana had this in her mind the whole time, that she was going to pick Calfani and not Rashid?
I do, and I also believe that Adriana told her dad in advance that she had two men she wanted him to meet. So if he eliminated himself, where's the other guy at? So I think it was kind of like a fail-safe to be like, well, Kalfani's fighting for me and all this and that. But Rashid knew that they were getting, Adriana and Kalfani were getting closer, and she was pulling back from him, because that's the whole reason why the conversation with his sister, and the reason why he didn't want her to come to meet Adriana, because he knew deep down that it may not have gone anywhere.
True. Well, going on to the conversation Adriana's dad had with Rashid and Kalfani, it seemed like it went in a okay direction. He was asking them kind of like off the wall questions. It wasn't too invasive, but to me it was like, okay, I guess he's a therapist, so he's trying to like get inside their mind. And Kalfani was kind of psyched out by this. He was like, I don't know what's going on. He's dazed and confused over there. But side note, I thought Adriana's dad was cute.
Okay.
Just saying. I just had to throw that out there. In all, I was like, are we not going to hear her dad's
Reaction?
opinions?
Yeah, but before you get to that, when he was given the questions, you said they weren't too off the wall. I don't think they were too off the wall. I just think in the manner he presented the questions to Kalfani, was it a little different in manner the way they presented to Rashid? Because when he learned that Rashid also went to a HBCU, he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, like the mood and the room lighten up for that. But Adriana's face I caught was kind of like,
Like, why are you bonding or vibing with him?
Exactly. But then when her and her dad, after Kalfani excused himself to go to a meeting in a resort, and I guess the pool game was over, Adriana and her dad went to sit down to have a dinner and to talk about what's going to happen. You're right. We didn't see what he said then. We only saw that after the fact. But before we get to that, let's talk about Kalfani's parents.
Go ahead.
And Kalfani's parents seemed to really like Adriana's energy. You know, and I wasn't surprised with that. Adriana is like they present or say to everyone, or whatever the vibe is. She does have a bubbly personality, things like that. And I believe she comes across like the good girl image kind of thing. But I still think that may not necessarily be, from what we see on TV, the right match long term.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So basically, Anthony and Winter decided to be together. Kalfani and Adriana are together. I guess Adriana decided to kick Rashid to the curb, and I was like, see, Rashid, you should have just left when you felt like you should have left, because Adriana was playing a little bit as the weeks go along. And I know some of our viewers said it. I know I saw some of the commentators say it. And for some reason, I think it was that Denise thing that I couldn't really get over. I'm like, nah, it was just Denise, you know, play hating, whatever. But you know what? Adriana really did have some in her, because I was not really feeling how she did Rashid this episode. Because if she wasn't feeling Rashid, which I was already picking up along the lines, but you know, mom was still holding out hope. Like, she gonna pick Rashid because that's something that she's used to. And that's what her friend was trying to get her to see. Like, you know, you have all these good things to say about Rashid, but when it comes to Kalfani, it's like the looks, you know, the mysteriousness. Like, what are you doing? This is Ready to Love. But you know what? That's who she chose. And for the reunion, we're just going to have to see if they still together or not. Well, that was the end of Ready to Love. It was an okay season. Last season was interesting. This season was okay, but the reunion should be very, very interesting with all the revelations that should be coming out with Alicia, Naya, Denise, who else? Raymond,
Simone,
the country dude, I always forget what his name is. All of them. So I'm excited to see them and what's going to happen. What about you, Mom? I know you are so excited about somebody, because you're always excited.
I'm always excited about reunions, of course, and the next episode. I want to know about Jay and Joy for sure. And I want to know if they truly stayed together after, you know, what happened in her family. But of course, the Alicia bombshells and the Denise and all the things that they've been talking about previously on YouTube and people's channels. I want to know if they're going to bring the same energy to the reunion.
I hope so. So let us know what you guys thought about this episode. And are you guys ready for the reunion? Thank you all so much for watching our Ready to Love season. We're definitely going to do Married at First Sight, which is coming out next Wednesday. And if you haven't already entered into our Millennial Mom 1,000 subscriber giveaway contest for a $150 gift card, make sure you go do it now. And when we hit 1,000, we'll be going live to announce the winner.
Yeah, and that gift card can be for, of course, new subscribers and all of our subscribers who've been with us along the way. So send your entry to millennialmom92@gmail.com.
Thank you all so much for watching.
And as always, live simply, be grateful.